Hello everyone. Now you will hear a brief retelling of the movie Ultras. Enjoy watching. The film takes place in the Italian city of Naples. Sandro, nicknamed the Mohican, is an experienced member of the Apache Ultras group. He and other fans of the Napoli football club came to the wedding of their colleague. They congratulated the newlyweds with a football song and an unfolded banner. Angela is another member of the organization. Together with his friends, he climbed over a high wall to get to the stadium. Their arsenal is banner checkers. Young people are interested in their leader Pequeno when they will already be taken to an away game. Glory to the exiled, the crowd shouts, the same inscription on Ginto's t-shirt. He and Sandra walk into the police station as if to their home. In 3 months, the Mohican came here to check in for the 16th time. Every time Napoli plays, tourists are walking around Naples. 2 of them looked into a dark, inconspicuous cafe where old Apaches gathered. Tim got nasty and America lost 2 clients. They prefer to watch the game of the 34th round of the Italian Championship on TV, but the restless youth made their way under the stands with Parma fans and threw checkers at them. In the evening, Angela stopped by the old man Sandra to play Fifu. The guy lost with a score of 6-0 and sent this game to hell. A modest fan dinner consists of spaghetti with garlic and a bottle of beer. A half-naked Ultras hangs out at the port and draws a large banner with the inscription "Burn the Capitol." Fat Trout got a slap on the neck from Gabby for messing up and going over the line. Another thing is Angela, who fixed a trout shoal with a firm hand. Peking asks the bald man not to get angry at the boys, after all, they are still studying. The old men, the founders of the group, also drove up here. And I like that young people made a banner without their permission. Everything should be decided at the general meeting. Moreover, they will not be allowed to enter the stadium in Rome anyway, but Beijing believes that they should go to the capital anyway. However, the Mohican Sandro gave instructions that no one should go to Rome, and they tore down the flag. The veteran took Angelo and brought him to the construction site. Sandro tells how during the showdown with Talent that year he was stabbed with a knife. And a month later, these psychos invited him to a party. The 10 of them went, and with them was the older brother Angelo Sasa. It was something, thousands of people, songs, tear gas, even a tank was brought. And they were accepted as their own, as if there had never been enmity. The Mohican had a huge cool banner hidden here with the inscription above the bill. Mom doesn't like Angela hanging out with Sandra. One of her sons, Saso, had already been killed during the skirmish. In the sauna, the big man Sandra laid eyes on a woman named Terry. They spent the next night together. Young Ultras watched the game of the 35th round in the billiard room, and Sandra listened to the match on the radio. The commentator was very unhappy with the Napoli fans, because they still unfurled a banner with the inscription "Burn the Capitol," and this is some kind of non-sporting nonsense. The man at this moment came to Terry when she was smeared with therapeutic mud and invited her to dinner. In the evening they met and were about to go to a restaurant, but a crowd of old Ultras was waiting for the Mohican. "We need to go to the young people right now and beat the crap out of them." Baraba reproaches his colleague that he has lost interest in their case, and if this is not the case, then he should go with them, not on a date. The Mohican made a choice and sent his girlfriend home, although he would prefer to spend time with her. The bus with the young returned from Florence to Naples. The mustached leaders rudely roused the boys and they immediately began to sing their songs. Together with the rest of the Ultras, Angela was already waiting for them. Beijing is happy with what they have arranged in Florence. Things will be even tougher in Rome. The crowd chants "Let's burn down the Capitol." But it quieted down when the old Apaches drove up to them. Baraba forced Pekin to come down, a Mohican took his place. He scolds the soldiers for the fact that they staged smoke bombs and aggressive posters at the match with Fiorentina, but they agreed with other Ultras not to use them. Blood has been spilled for 30 years, now it has become calmer, they have taken and discussed everything. All decisions should be made together, one Ultras is worth nothing. The mustaches were put in place and they discontentedly disappeared into the crowd. Sandra spends the evening again in the company of Angel, apparently feeling guilty for the death of his brother. An old Ultras hangs out on the rocks and discusses Sandra's love interest. The Mohican can't wait for today's date. Angela chose the latter between the girl and her friends. Pekin and Gabby gathered youngsters in the gym. They proclaim that the old Apaches are in the past, and they will create a new organization. They can't miss away matches, especially this year when they can win the championship. No one will tell them what to do. Gabby started singing a song about how they can't be stopped. Sandro was finally able to have dinner with Terry, but their sweet conversation was interrupted by some wild boar who wanted to take a picture with the famous Mohican. Sandro refused, and then the big guy started telling him all sorts of nasty things, like he's a relic of history. During the confrontation, Terry silently got up and went to her car. Sandro followed her to apologize, but Terry thinks they should have separated after the first night. However, Sandra still managed to beg her forgiveness. The ultras are having fun in the club. The fat trout got out of control and danced the girl of one big guy. Then he reached under the table for the flares and shoved them under his t-shirt. In the toilet, Beijing inspires young people to do great things. They say the ultra have collapsed and they should scare the capital. They also allegedly have to do it for the sake of Angel's dead brother. The guy is not sure that he wants to be with them, and not stay with the Apaches. This angered Pequeño and he drove the boys away. Angela brought friends to the construction site and they unfurled that huge banner of Sandro. Tolstoy put a fire nearby to highlight and take a picture. Friends are debating whether they should go to Rome. They have to show what they are worth. At that moment, the guys saw that the banner caught fire from the fire. Now the losers are trying to reproduce it from memory on the roof, only they all messed up with the color. Angela snapped and attacked Forelli. Friends ask Sandra to talk to him and settle everything, because they are friends, and the fat Mohican will definitely kill him. The old guard gathered at the stadium. Baraba says they are Apaches, a real ultras with their own code and rules. Just as they were taking the banners out of the backpack, Sandra drove up. Everyone is shocked that someone destroyed their banner. The Mohican wanted to get frostbitten from the showdown, but Baraba came to his house and the mustache didn't care that a friend was preparing dinner for a date. Sandra invites him to remember what they did at their age. They also fought. They were also weird at away matches. They are already over 50, and they are all thinking about fights, counterattacks and other nonsense. In the end, Sandra lost his nerve, he shouted and drove away an old friend. The date went well and ended in bed. But then at 3 o'clock in the morning, Terry got a call from a previous lover, whom she met at the gym. Sandra got jealous and chased the woman out of his house. Angela has been trying to find Sandra all morning, his friends have not seen him either. At the same time, they asked me to tell the Mohican not to meddle with them anymore, and patches with bits on motorcycles went to the disassembly. Angelo came to his friends and told them that the old people were accusing Pequeño of burning the banner. They also need to go to him. The veterans were planning an attack when Sandro drove up to them. Baraba realized that his friend was with them and put a chain around his neck so that he would not catch a cold. Gabby and Pequeño were hanging out at the gym as always. The old men attacked them from all sides and began to work with sticks and feet. Barabov hammers Beijing with his fists and asks why he burned their banner. Then the young came running. Angela called Sandro, who ordered everyone to stop and move away. In the corridor, the kid finally admitted that the damaged banner was his fault, but Magi Kanan guessed it right away. He called Angel an asshole, he spat in the man's face and immediately received a slap in his own way. At night after the showdown, Mom treats Barabi with his broken fists, Jinto is drawn by his sick daughter, and a beaten Pequeño with a broken leg is in the hospital. His friend Gabby is freaking out in the gym. Sandro walked around the city in despair and fell into a nightclub. 37th round of the championship. Angela returned home a few days later. The mother already has a new boyfriend. The woman is trying to establish a relationship with her son, but he was rude and almost beat her. Angela packed up and left the house again. Sandro wants to talk to Terry. She was just leaving the gym with the same guy, but she doesn't need his apologies. In the evening, fireworks are launched throughout the city. There is one round of the championship left. Napoli are close to becoming champions. The young people decided that they would also go to Rome. Preparations for the trip are in full swing in the gym, but some are worried that there are too few of them for such a dangerous undertaking. Angela and her friends didn't want to let her in here at first, but the guy said he wanted to go to the capital to avenge his brother. He's ready to take blades and knives and stab someone there. Gabby burns over the fat man, it will also cut people, and slapped him in the face. In the end, Gabby allowed them to go and set them as an example to the main group. Sandro keeps up with Terry and breaks into her apartment without permission. The persistent and charming Italian achieved his goal, and the next day the couple went to rest on the beach. After the man kicked the ball in the yard with the boys, and then the lovers retired to some abandoned house. The day went great. Before the trip, Angela cut her hair short and went to a club with friends. The whole drunken company fell asleep on the beach. Early in the morning they were picked up by trucks. At the same time, Zandra's mother Angela showed up. She is worried about the fact that her son has not been home for 2 days. The man also thought about it and realized where to look for him. The Ultras drive up to Rome in a smoked truck and are pumped up with substances, including Angela. The last, 38th round of the championship. Gabby distributes sticks and smoke bombs to the fighters. Angela received a folding knife. Sandro rides after them on a motorcycle. An aggressive crowd chants "Let's burn down the Capitol" and heads towards the stadium. Many Ultra hid their face. They saw a police squad ahead, started throwing them with flares and ran forward. Militant Azzurri attacked the cops and began to beat them severely. Now they will be able to reach Roma fans. Sandro pulled the hood over his head and wrapped a belt around his arm. Ultra attacked the policeman again. A stun grenade exploded right under Angelo. Sandra burst into the crowd and began to extinguish the Ultra from the Roma football club. Angelo is lost and can't come to his senses. Trout helps him get out of this carnage. They approached the stadium, but at that moment they were noticed by 2 cops. The fat man could not escape and they started beating him with batons. Angela came back and stabbed a policeman in the leg. The second cop is now clubbing him, too. Sandra, under a hail of blows, was able to break through and find the guy. He brutally beat the cops and now all 3 of them took to their heels. The fat one is lagging behind again, and then a shot rang out. From the same church where the wedding ceremony took place, the old Apaches carry out the coffin. A huge crowd has gathered. Ultra will sing their song, many are crying. Fiorelli is standing in the crowd. Angela came to the funeral with her mother. He approached the tearful Terry and asked for a cigarette. Sandro was very close to building a happy future with her, but the past did not let him go.